Right, welcome to the Finance Scrutiny Committee, and welcome to members, officers and the Cabinet member. Welcome any members of the public and press, and just to remind them that this meeting is held in public and not a public meeting, and there are not any opportunities on this occasion to take questions or comments from the online. For the members, the process of the remote meetings is that the meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube and is being recorded. They should mute themselves when not speaking to ensure sound quality. Use the raise hand feature if they wish to speak, and to wait until invited by the chair. The Democratic Services Officer will be monitoring the hands raised, but members should keep their hand raised until invited to speak or decide that they do not wish to. Once called upon, put hand down, and before concluding the item or moving to the vote, the chair, myself, will ask if there are any further comments. Should any aspect of the conference link fail, I will call a short adjournment of up to 5 minutes to determine whether the link can quickly be re-established. And in the event of a link failure, any of the remote members will be deemed to have left the meeting at the point of failure of the equipment. And if the link cannot be re-established before the end of the meeting, then the presumption will be that the meeting should continue to deal with them with the item. Okay, is everyone understand those rules? Yeah. Okay. Right. Can I ask for any apologies for absence?
There have been none, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? Everyone, it's so quiet. I assume there's none to declare. Okay, thank you. Right, item 3, the minutes of the previous meeting dated the 11th of February 2020. Such a long time ago, I must admit. Looking at the committee members, there's only Nathan and somebody else.
Me.
Called it.
Nathan and called it that attended that meeting.
Yeah.
So can I take it that
I'll move it. I'll move the minutes.
And Nathan, can you second it?
Yeah, I'll second it, Chair.
All right. Okay. Thanks for that. I'm assuming that anything on that is either on this agenda or you know, a lot of water has gone under the bridge since then.
Yeah, they are correct, Chair. I read them all. I was there, and
Okay.
they are all correct. Yeah.
Thank you, called it. Okay.
Chair, just for the benefit of any public who are watching, could we just have, I know this might sound pedantic, but just a vote on the minutes. Presumably all members except Councillor Sahota in England will be abstaining, but please could we just have a quick vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
All right. Thank you. Right. Item 4 is the terms of reference. This is the terms of reference for the finance committee structure. Anthea's put a report in which hopefully you have all read. On looking at it, there is only one part that needs to be looked at, which is Appendix 1, where the terms of reference at point 4 is the chair is appointed at the AGM of full council, and secondly, a vice chair may be appointed by majority decision of the committee. So in case that I am not there, a vice chair can be selected or appointed at that particular meeting. Anthea.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just for clarity for members, this addition is just to align these terms of reference with the terms of reference we have for other meetings, which addresses the point about how the chair and vice chair will be appointed. For the purpose of scrutiny committees, the chair is appointed at the annual general meeting, and then if and when a vice chair is needed at any particular meeting, it will fall to a majority decision of the committee that's sat at that time. Other than that, the terms of reference remain unchanged from previously.
Okay. Charles?
I will move the report, Chair. I read it this morning and nothing changes.
No, that's fine. So if you propose them, have I got a seconder?
Yes, I'll second it, Chair.
Thank you, Caldy. Okay. If everyone is in agreement to that, like
Yes.
your hand up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any abstentions or anybody against? No. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Right, item 5 is the review of the housing investment programme. Can I welcome? I'm assuming it's James Dunn. Is he in there?
I'm here, Chair. Yes.
Hello,
Good evening.
James.
Hi,
Hello.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. And I know David Wright's here as well. So am I leaving it over to you, James, to introduce it?
And to Kate Callis is here as well, who's leading on the
Hello,
programme.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Chair. So what we thought we'd do is do a brief presentation by Kate, sort of setting out the detail of the report. The report covers both, obviously, the work that's done to date against the current programme and the expansion of the programme going forward, which was approved at Cabinet last week and goes to full council on the 26th of November. So over to Kate.
Thanks, James. Yeah, I'll just try and share this presentation with you. It might have already been circulated to you, so you might have had an opportunity to have a look at it already. Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, so as James has mentioned, this report and associated business case went to Cabinet last week. It really covers, I guess, 3 key areas. The first being the achievements of the Housing Investment Programme to date since its inception back in 2015. It then takes a look at kind of local, regional and national context from a kind of regulatory market conditions and policy point of view to establish really opportunities for expansion of the programme. And then I guess the key section of the report is opportunities for expansion and further diversification and investment. So I've tried to summarise what is a very hefty kind of business case in a few slides. So I'll go through these and hopefully we can have some questions at the end. So in terms of achievements so far, New Place has delivered or has in delivery a total of 466 homes across 10 sites within the borough. We're delivering a range of accommodation, so a mixture of 1, 2, 3 and 4 bed homes. And we believe at the moment those houses are accommodating well over 1,000 residents within the borough, which is obviously really fantastic. We're delivering homes that are affordable. 55 of the homes delivered to date are rented out at affordable rent levels, with the remainder being at private rent. And more latterly, we've sought to deliver homes that are accessible and adaptable as well. This directly responds to the council's recently adopted specialist and supported housing strategy, which has identified an undersupply of accessible homes within the borough. A New Place has sought to respond to that on a private rent basis, and are piloting 19 homes at a site in Dot Hill, opposite the Princess Royal Hospital, known as Maple Fields. Those homes are just under construction, but are built to a range of accessible and adaptable standards, really with a key to that being allowing people to live independently, as independently as possible within those homes. We're also now delivering homes that reduce our carbon footprint. Again, we've got another site which we're hoping to start on with at the end of this month off Southwater Way within the town centre, all of which incorporate solar panels, electric car charging points, really looking to reduce the carbon footprint of our developments and reduce fuel poverty as well for our tenants. One of the key objectives of the programme was focus on brownfield sites. These are obviously very challenging in terms of abnormal costs, but we really wanted to bring forward some sites that have been stalled for a number of years, and we've done so and regenerated so far over 28 acres of brownfield land within the borough. We're continuing to successfully let and manage our properties. Voids for the programme to date are running at 1.88%, which is really positive. That's below the kind of anticipated and modelled levels that we established at the outset and look at on a site-by-site basis. And I think that really reflects the quality of homes that we're delivering, both in terms of the property itself, but also the management service as well, both from a tenancy perspective, but also a property management and maintenance point of view as well. We try and strive to be very responsive, and our tenants recognise that. But I think also the fact that obviously the programme's council backed provides that real security of tenure to our tenants, and is a real USP for us. They feel confident in the council brand, and we've looked to capitalise on that as we've moved through the programme as well. From a financial perspective, New Place has generated a profit of just over £2 million before interest and taxation, and just over 0.4 million after interest and taxation. That's for this financial year, well, the previous financial year ending March 2020. From the council's perspective, the programme has generated income of £4.4 million. That's through the lending to New Place, or the loan to New Place, and the interest charged on that, but also through the provision of services to New Place, both in the development phase and also in terms of the operation and tenancy management services as well. The programme's also generated over £1 million through council tax and new homes bonus. An important part of the programme as well is capital growth of the homes, the assets that we've built, and we revalue our portfolio annually. And to the end of March 2020, we've seen capital growth of 17%, which is obviously significant. And I guess equally important is some of the kind of the softer added value that the programme's delivered. These are key objectives as well at the outset of the programme. And I think we're delivering some real positive outcomes here as well. One of the key ones was local spend with local contractors and local labour. And you can see there 58% of our contract spend is within a 30-kilometre radius of our sites, which equates to just over £32 million. And we've also seen, very importantly, borough-based spend increase as the pipeline has developed. There's become confidence in that throughput and the programme continuing. And we've seen subcontractors and the supply chain locally respond to that, as well as our main contractor Lovell looking to place more orders with our local contractors, which has been really, really positive. We work with Lovell to promote training and apprenticeships, with both directly within their organisation and within the supply chain. And we also seek wherever possible possible to deliver a wide range of community engagement. That's with schools, so getting them involved in designing artwork for hoarding, getting them on site to understand the construction process and what we're trying to achieve, which is always really, really positive and adds real value. And also through sponsorship as well in terms of some of the corporate objectives that we've been delivering as well. And we're also delivering award-winning developments, which is really nice to get these kind of accolades. There's been a bit of PR recently around a site at Coppice Court in Sneds Hill receiving the LABC award for best high volume new housing development, and specifically referenced there was the quality of workmanship and the standards of construction. So that's just a real whistle-stop tour, I guess, of what's been achieved over the last 5 years. It's quite hard to encapsulate, I guess, in a few slides, but I think the key thing to note is that when the programme was established, there was a huge number of assumptions made based on really sound advice and evidence, but nonetheless assumptions that underpinned a business case. And I think what we've seen over the last 5 years is those assumptions have borne true. We've delivered lots of positive outcomes, and we've also been able to refine the business case sitting behind the housing investment programme, and it's that which will underpin and does underpin the thought process moving forward. In terms of market policy and regulatory conditions, we've had a look at that. Obviously, it provides some important context for how we might take the programme forward and look to diversify it potentially. What we're seeing locally is continued growth of the private rented sector, and that growth is significant, so 13% between 2018 and 19. And alongside that, consistent upward trend in rental levels as well, and that tends to be across all property sizes. But we also have seen and are continuing to see this changing demographic of renters. It used to be I guess a tenure that people were forced to take if they couldn't afford to get on the property ladder, for example. But increasingly, we're seeing people of all ages actively seek private rent as a tenure choice. That could be for mobility reasons, to maintain a level of equity so they can do other things with that money rather than sinking it into a home. And I think a key change that's been recognised nationally and is also certainly occurring locally is more older people looking to enter the rental market at a later stage in their life. Again, a range of drivers for that. People wanting to realise equity in their home, support their children to get on the housing ladder, pay off debt, but also just reduce the burden of home ownership. People in large properties not wanting to have that maintenance liability moving forward. And through the specialist and supported housing that New Place has delivered and is looking to deliver more of, we want to actively respond to that. At a national level, we're definitely seeing more interest and focus on the private rented sector. We anticipate that it will become more regulated moving forward, but I think that really reinforces and underpins some of the primary objectives of the housing investment programme, which is all about raising standards. So I think, if anything, it will add strength to what we're doing rather than be of anything of concern. And I've mentioned previously, but at a local level, we've obviously had the draft housing strategy and also the recently adopted specialist and supported strategy, which have set really clear priorities for the direction of housing within the borough. And New Place is a key component of that in terms of setting that precedent and that standard in terms of housing delivery. So again, I think to summarise, lots of some change, but lots of positive indicators for the strength of private rental moving forward that New Place and the housing investment programme can look to build on.
Thanks.
So in the
Sorry, Kate. Sorry. You
no, don't worry. I can't see anybody's hand, so please interrupt.
No, I was going to say, before I hand you over to the members to ask any questions, is there anything that James or David needs will add to the New Place and what you're doing regarding New Place and future developments? So if I can hand you over, if James has got anything to say, or if David has, before I hand you over to the members, that'd be fine.
I think
she hasn't quite finished yet, Stephen. She's a couple other slides just to go through the next phase.
Just get to the good bit.
I do apologise.
No,
don't worry. I'm probably going on too much. Just thinking, hurry up. But yes, I think in the context of what's happened to date, we've established a pipeline for investment, which is kind of summarised on this slide here. So opportunity to bring forward a further 320 homes. It represents a further capital investment of £48 million. And we've tried to summarise on here as well the focus for that investment. So the number of affordable dwellings, accessible and adaptable dwellings we're seeking to deliver, as well as those that will contribute towards the council's carbon reduction commitment. I think a key again, a focus on brownfield sites here as well. So yeah, the next couple of slides really just summarise some of the outcomes that we're hoping to deliver. So I mentioned further 320 homes. That will bring the portfolio to just shy of 800. So a further kind of 70% increase in the number of homes we're delivering. Diversification in terms of the bedroom, the sizes of properties we deliver. So building on the diversification to date in terms of more 1 or 4 beds, hopefully. More accessible and adaptable homes across a range of sites, building on our pilot at Maple Fields. The protection of and investment in our existing housing stock, and this is a really exciting and interesting diversification of New Place, which has been very much focused to date on new build estates. This is about acquiring existing stock from a range of sources, potentially Wrekin Housing Group or other house builders involved in part exchange, refurbishing those and again renting them out on a private and affordable rent basis. And there's real opportunity here, we think, to link to housing provision for people who are supported by our adults and children's services and looking to provide some of that housing for potentially care leavers, key workers. So a real exciting opportunity there, and again allows us to really spread the added value of New Place in the programme far and wide within the borough. Refurbishment of redundant and underused buildings. There's 2 schemes, one at the Gower and one at the old nursery off Main Road in Ketley Bank, where we're looking to refurbish existing spaces within those buildings to create new dwellings and also community spaces in the case of the Gower, and deliver that alongside some new build housing. So very much focused on safeguarding these very important community assets and delivering very unique living spaces to complement our new build offer. Ambitious intergenerational mixed tenure schemes. New Place are involved in some really large schemes, the largest being a site off Donington Road Way, where we're delivering private rented housing alongside homes from open market sale and affordable rent. So really delivering that kind of mixed tenure scheme. Market making homes within the town centre. So as part of the station quarter proposals, looking to really drive forward that town centre living offer through 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, a very contemporary and new offer for our town. The regeneration of further brownfield sites, another over 18 acres. A key focus of the programme moving forward will be embodying carbon reduction measures on our homes wherever possible, as well as seeking to enhance biodiversity and meet a wider green agenda. So that's really key. Housing that's future-proofed, and I think this is a really key one. I don't think the way people live and work is probably ever going to be the same again. I think home working will definitely become a matter of course for lots of people, certainly on a part-time basis anyway. So ensuring that our homes meet those needs in terms of office space, but also private outside space as well as communal outside space is going to be ever more important. Housing which really continues to raise standards. I've touched on that, and I think it's something that we definitely do at the moment, but we need to maintain that. And housing that from a financial point of view really secures that positive rental stream and maximises the gross development value of our New Place portfolio. And I've just put on the last slide, I think, some images which hopefully encapsulate the diversity of the pipeline of schemes that we've identified, from the very contemporary kind of town centre living offer in the top left-hand corner down to that real heritage proposal looking to refurbish the Gower down on the bottom left, and then the Telford and Wrekin Homes, which is all about adding value and bringing to an improved standard some of our existing housing stock. So a real range of projects which really build on the new build offer of New Place that we've had to date, and I think provide a really exciting proposition. And I have finished now, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Sorry about that.
Don't worry at all. That's absolutely fine. I'll unshare.
I see that there are a couple of hands up. I might as well ask them to ask you questions. Presumably they're relating to what you've just presented. So if I can ask Caldip first, if he wants to ask any questions.
Yeah, Kate, you mentioned the training and the apprenticeship. Do we have any numbers, number of people we trained, or number of people who came into apprenticeship, the locals or something? Do we quantify that, or we are just saying that the developers just take the trainers and take on the apprentices?
They do, yeah, they do quantify it for us, and they do report it to us. And I don't know the figures off the top of my head, but I can easily provide them. Called it. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. Other one is on the reducing carbon footprints. You mention solar panels. Do these houses all of them have a solar panels? Did you said on top of them?
Yeah.
So all those that we are building, the number 500 or what is it? I got it here somewhere. They all got a solar panels.
We will look at it on a site-by-site basis, and we are putting them on 46 homes at Southwater Way that we are due to start on site with, hopefully at the end of this month, and that's a given. We are definitely looking at them on our site off Donington Wood Way, and absolutely where viability allows, we will look to incorporate them. Obviously, it's an added cost and the tenant benefits, so it's something that we do need to consider in the round. We are looking at a pilot on the Donington Wood Way scheme, which involves putting solar panels on the roof alongside battery storage, and there might be opportunity for the for New Place to generate a revenue stream and sell some of that surplus energy back to the grid, and that will help pump prime and fund a kind of a carbon reduced offer going forward. So we're trying to look at innovative ways of doing it, so that we can make it stack up financially. Yeah,
just a final point, Chair, if I just may. The rent, is it the market rent, or is it just below, or how do we go about it? Because sometimes the people say, well, it's a market rent, why go to New Place, go to local landlord or something. But are we charging the full whack of the market rent, or are we just below it or something? Do we have our complaint that the rent is too high?
It's a good question, Caldip, and I think it's difficult to answer, I suppose, in some ways. We charge, I think, equivalent rents to other new build private rental properties within the borough. We are seeing some comparator schemes now come forward, and we are absolutely on par with that. We know, are we on par with the
Weekend Housing Trust?
Well, we are on affordable rent levels, yes. And as I mentioned, some of our properties are let at affordable rent levels, which will be on par with Wrekin Housing Group and other affordable providers. They are let at 80% of open market rents. But the product that we're delivering is a new build and good quality product, and the rents reflect that. So I think the fact that our voids are running at 1.88% shows that the demand is there and that people do want to rent them, and are happy to rent them at that level. I think there was an interesting conversation on Facebook earlier in the week where two of our tenants were actually supporting the rents that we charge, because they've said that the quality of the property and the tenancy management service that we deliver, supports that 100%. So I think there is a diversified rental offer within the borough, from a range of landlords, and I think the New Place product is at the top end, the higher end of that. The Telford and Wrekin Homes presents an opportunity to offer private rented properties at a lower rent, and that's one of the key drivers for that diversification.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caldip. Thank you, Kate. Adrian, you've got a question.
Yeah, it's another one on the environment for Kate. Looking to the future with sort of 2050 as sort of a long distance away, but sort of nevertheless coming round. What that means for most houses in the borough is we're going to have to move away from gas central heating and move to things like heat pumps and the solar panels and the storage that you talked about. So how much of the houses where there are solar panels and electric storage, are they solely electric with no gas? Or are we building in a problem for the future where we're putting gas in, then 5 or 10 years down the line we're going to have to pull that out and replace that with heat pumps or solar anyway. So
Yeah.
if
I think
that is the case, wouldn't we better be setting an example by just not installing any gas at all in any build after a certain date?
Yeah, I think it's something we're piloting on our scheme off Donington Wood Way. It's one of the schemes due to come forward earliest in our pipeline. We're looking at 10 to 15 properties there that won't be served by gas. They'll be fully electric and built to future home standards, which is the new building reg standards that come in 2025, which is an 80% betterment on existing building regs. And I think that pilot will be really important to demonstrate, well, to hopefully demonstrate how New Place can cost effectively build those homes to that high level of insulation and high level of low carbon homes. And so absolutely learning from that, we'll be looking to take that forward. And I think you're right, we need to move away from gas and look at a fully electric solution moving forward, because it's going to be mandatory, so there's no point shying away from that. We need to embrace it for sure.
Okay. Well, can you keep us informed of that, actually?
Yeah, definitely.
We'd like to hear on progress on that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Adrian. Charles.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It's a comment on the report, actually. I noticed to the 466 houses which have been built and or currently in the pipeline, only 11.8% are affordable, 4% are adaptable, and 8% are 4 bedrooms. It doesn't seem to tie with the affordable rent that we got for having all these bedrooms in and the 4% adaptable. And if you go to Maple Field in Dot Hill, there's 54 houses there, 19 are adaptable, and only 2 are affordable. And you've got 15 4 bedrooms. I don't see that we're creating proper diverse societies with this. Can you sort of enlighten me where we're going with this? All these adaptable,
I think the accessible and adaptable homes has been something that we've only looked to introduce more latterly in the programme. I think we were wanting in the early years of the housing investment programme, when there was a level of uncertainty about all of it, I think to a certain extent, to prove that the model worked, to provide a very, very sound base from which to look to expand and diversify the portfolio. A couple of years ago now, we took some external advice from Experts Housing Lynn around opportunities for diversification into specialist and supported accommodation in the private rented sector. And if I'm perfectly honest, it's a very, very new market. I don't know any other private rented provider, certainly within the borough or even regionally, who deliver accessible and adaptable homes on a private rent basis. So the Maple Fields was intended to be a pilot to test an appetite for potentially owner occupiers to downsize into private rented accommodation and to understand if there are any barriers to that. Now, what we're seeing at Maple Fields is that there is demand and the appetite's there, but it's shown us what kind of product works well. And we know that, for example, the accessible apartments haven't let as well as we'd anticipated, but bungalows have let incredibly well. So that will inform our decisions moving forward about housing mix, rental levels of adaptability. And that's why the programme and the pipeline that you see has much more accessible and adaptable housing accommodated within it, because it's quite innovative, and it is Maple Fields was absolutely a pilot.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Charles. Nathan.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's difficult to comment too much on something that's so positive and is such a good project that we've got. Just a couple of things. I'm lucky that we've got 31 homes in Ranelagh at Poolview. Excellent scheme. I know of other sites in Telford where they've got WhatsApp groups. The community feels really good. They all communicate. They run different things are on about all their Christmas lights at the moment going up. And I'm really happy that we're looking at the diversification and putting some of the income that you've got and you generate into some of the older stock. That was one of the concerns over the years at this committee, that we were worried about the original new town estates and how dilapidated they were getting and how they were getting sold off. So just positive comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Can't see anybody else's hand up. Okay, thank you, Kate, for those responses. They're very, very favourable. So I'm pleased with that. While James is here, is there anything that James wants to add to the new place?
I don't think so, Stephen. I mean, the only thing to add, I think, is in terms of how new place is obviously seen as a product of choice for residents of Telford. I think especially that, as well as the quality of the provision, quality of the management, it's having that known fact that they can move into a property of new place and they can live there for as long as they want to. I think that has proven to be a big thing. I think when we set up new place, there was almost a thing about almost separating it from the council. It was it was a whole branding separately, and what we've seen over the years actually, that one of the big reasons that people want to live there is because it is associated with the council and it's associated with a lifetime effectively of ability to rent a property a good quality. I think that's the other thing just to mention.
Thank you, James. I notice David. I'll ask Coldip first. I presume there's a question, Coldip.
Yeah, the question for either James or Dave. I mean, there will come a time when we run out of all the brown sites. Have we got any? Going to get any from the government? From the communities and what was that other organization? Are we sort of having a little deal with them so they can give us a land in the future and we can build houses like we're doing now, James? Or is there a plan? All these you have done is all the local brownfield sites. What I'm thinking, when we run out of the brownfield site, and then what happens?
Well, we obviously have a number of brownfield sites within the next programme. Obviously, the two schemes at Sneds Hill in the original programme, which we're just finishing at the moment, obviously were Homes England assets which we bought off them at market rate, and opportunities for that sort of acquisition in the future will be considered. But I think, as I say, the focus has been on brownfield sites, and that's what the sort of next round of the programme shows.
Thank you.
Okay.
I noticed, Nathan, you got another question?
Yeah, just a quick one, just on what Coldip was saying there. I know we've had brownfield site funding through West Midlands Combined Authority. Is there any other funding streams such like that, or other projects they've got on, or the LEP, which is providing funding to us?
There are different pockets of funding. So, for example, obviously we announced recently the development at the new college site, and that benefits from LEP funding. You've got other schemes where they're affordable that benefit from Homes England affordable funding, and then you've got the combined authority funding. The balance is that because they all have to deliver outputs against that funding, you can't sort of cross subsidise between them. So you've got to sort of pick and choose, as it were, depending on the sort of parameters of the site and who's involved, really. But certainly, for example, we are looking at opportunities for the combined authority brownfield fund where we can.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Nathan. Thank you, James. David, sorry for the delay.
No, that's fine. I mean, my brief here almost is as cabinet lead is to listen, really, and I think that's one of the valuable things about this format is it does give us an opportunity for you to undertake what Scrutiny should be doing, which is for you to sense check what we're doing in terms of a whole range of agendas, and I think it's really valuable that we have an opportunity to present what's happened with New Place, both historically but also looking forward, and you have an opportunity to fire off what have been a set of very pertinent and important questions to James and Kate, and for me to acknowledge as well. I just think that I just wanted to say initially that not initially, I just wanted to say that I think when you first establish a program like this, you've got to have a bedrock of market rate properties as a challenging organization. So I think what we did when we set up this business, or what you did, because I wasn't on the council at the time, what the Labour group did, or whatever the council generally did, was to establish a portfolio of market rent properties that meant that you had some stability in the business model, and I think that's really important. I think what we're doing now, if you look at the program going forward, is we're starting to spread our wings, if you like. We're starting to turbocharge this model. I wonder if I can come up with another phrase, but you know, it is that we're starting to spread our wings. And as Kate has said, in terms of things like adapted homes, in terms of looking at more affordable homes, as you've mentioned, Charles, that bedrock of a good platform of delivery of income delivering properties at market level means that we have financial stability behind the model, and we can start to look at changing and diversifying and doing new things. And you know, there's plenty of business people at this meeting tonight. You know, I called it Eric, you know, Adrian, people who who know that you've got to have stability in your business, haven't you, in terms of your business model, before you start to change your strategy or develop your strategy. You've got to get the basics right first. So I think we've done that, and I think the program that you're seeing us developing now sort of moves us on from that. In terms of the point Adrian was making, yeah, Adrian, I think you're dead right. I think we've got to start to look at piloting all electric, as Kate has said, and looking at different types of energy efficiency. I think it will depend on each scheme, won't it, Kate, in terms of its viability and what's possible in each scheme. But I think certainly the Donington Wood Way scheme, because of its scale and the brownfield nature of the site, and Adrian, you'll know it very well, it gives us a chance to pilot some of that stuff and do it, which is really, really positive, and test it out. And then again, as I've said earlier, once you've got that base model in place, you can start to roll out that as the norm, if you like, throughout the process. Again, similarly called it with the scheme in Mallinsley, with the car charging points on Southwater and the photovoltaic cells, etc. That gives us another opportunity to test that market so that we can see how we can develop this going forward. In terms of brownfield land, I think what I'd like to see us do is, as we start to develop the housing strategy, as we start to look at some of our new town estates that will be in need of regeneration, then I think that further brownfield sites may well come forward on those in those areas, as we look sort of how the land supply looks and how those estates look. I mean, I also think there will be pocket sites in rural communities that we need to start to think about, providing alternative housing options as windfall sites come up. So I just think there are some real opportunities to use this model to intervene, both at a market level, but also at an affordable level. And I think one of the benefits, as you've said, of the programme is that people look at this, they see it's backed by the council, and they see it as a reliable model, and we're an exemplar for other private sector providers. And I think that's the other key thing, that other private sector, and we have some excellent private sector landlords in the borough. And what this does is we can work alongside them to set the standard for everybody. And I think that's a really good message that we're sending out through this programme as well. So really appreciate the opportunity to come and touch base with you folks and answer questions and get this on your radar. And we'd like, I think, or I'd like us, Chair, to come back, reasonably regularly to you to let you know how the programme's developing. So thanks for the opportunity.
No, thank you, David. I agree wholeheartedly with that, and as I say, I'm sure that the committee will come up with the way forward in a lot of respects to the new place scheme. So, and I'm sure that we'll be talking about the way forward once you've disappeared tonight. So thank you. Or are there any other questions before I can ask David and Kate and James to disappear? I think
you're telling us to clear off, basically, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Not at all. No, I want to thank you all for attending tonight, and as I say, I'm really impressed with the report, and I think the committee appreciate all that work. Oh, Eric, have you got your hand up? Do you want to...
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's great to see people who I worked with when I was cabinet member back into the fold. I worked with Kate, I worked with James, obviously, and also our new chief executive, who was then in charge of economic development, and it was very, very good. And in fact, just to remind, I'm not getting into the politics of this, but just stating facts, that it was when in the period when I was cabinet member, that I did a deal with the Homes and Communities Agency to get that industrial land brought into Telford, following what happened at Milton Keynes. And this is now a development from that, which, forget the politics, let's just talk facts. It's given us the opportunity to develop land which was there. It was previously mining land, obviously, and then classed as brownfield. It looks green because it's got grass on it, but basically it was brownfield sites, which has given the council the opportunity to do what they're doing now, which I welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Right, no other questions. So thank you all for attending tonight. As I say, it's most interesting and well worthwhile for the council to proceed with New Place and the future development. So thank you all for attending tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Right. Thank you all. Right. Okay. What we got to do now is to just discuss the housing investment programme. If anybody has got any questions or ideas on the way forward to sort of promote what the programme is all about, if anybody wants to start with that, or if everyone is happy with what has been presented tonight, I say as long as we support that would be fine. Has anybody got any points of view? Okay. No, I think we're all right. Okay, so if everyone's happy, we'll proceed to the work programme review. If everyone is okay with that. Yeah, Anthea's back. So your pictures just come back up. Right. Okay, so the work programme review. As you've seen from the report that was sent to you, we've got various items on the 2020-21 work programme. Namely, so we got the local, the LEP, the Local Enterprise Partnership. We got budget scrutiny, which is coming up, financial management, the redevelopment of new towns, and hold on. Here we go. Oh, the screen's going all over the place.
Chair, would you like me to present?
Yeah, you can do for me. That'd be good. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah.
I have to say I've been having some technical issues this evening as well, so forgive me if something goes awry. So members, you will have seen entry into your diaries, hopefully, for the December meeting where the Local Enterprise Partnership is attending to provide its annual update report and annual business plan, or an update on its annual business plan. You'll get the annual business plan later in the year. And then following that, depending upon the outcome of those discussions, members may then want to consider whether there's any further work around redevelopment of the new towns, which is the last item on page 79 in the work programme. As the chair said, January is going to be reasonably busy for this committee because we get into the budget setting process, and the dates we are looking at are from the 7th of January onwards, and there will be a couple of meetings in fairly quick succession over the course of January and possibly February as well. On the second page of the work programme, which is page 80 of your pack, there was a request to bring an item on the work of the commercial services work that the council has undertaken. The council is in the process of reviewing the commercial work that it currently undertakes, and also identifying opportunities and reviewing opportunities for any other commercial work that it can undertake. And that piece of work will finish early in the new year. So it's proposed that will come to this committee probably in March, once officers have had an opportunity to consider the outcome of that review, and then pull together some thoughts on how things might progress from there. The second to last item is the one you just had this evening, so that can fall out of this work programme now. But but I noted that Councillor Lawrence wanted an update on the climate change provision within the housing investment programme. So we'll make a note to include that maybe in 6 months' time or so. We'll pick that up as part of the work programming for the next municipal year when we go through that. And then finally, the procurement update. Members might have seen some details that the legislation's changed recently in relation to procurement, or is about to change, which gives councils greater flexibility to shop local, if you like, for want of a better phrase. And so it's proposed that the procurement update will include a briefing on how those changes impact on the council's ability to keep the pound local and to drive the economy and support the local economy, as well as the social value element that comes into the contracts as well. And it's proposed that that will be presented to the committee after you've come to the end of your budget setting meetings, because we're conscious that the budget setting meetings will take up the primary part of the meetings moving forward over the next few months.
Yeah, thank you, Anthea. Yeah, that's brought it right up to March 2020, really. So no, thank you for that. As you can see, we're going to be very busy. So we got to look forward to the meeting with the LEP on the 9th of December. So hopefully something will come out of that we can look at and digest and really have a good look at it on what they're proposing and how that fits in with Telford and Wrekin. As I say, January will be very, very busy. So it really restricts us to do anything else other than that will see us through until March. So Anthony, do you want to add to that?
It was just in terms of the meeting with the LEP in December, Chair. I just thought it might be useful if members could give some thought as to what they might want to ask the LEP, and if we could give the LEP some advance notice of that, then it might be a more productive meeting, so that we can have that the LEP update can be focused. So unless members have any objections, perhaps if you could get suggestions to Kieran Robinson in Democratic Services, then we could send a short note to the LEP in advance to let them know the sorts of things that members might be interested in. Clearly, we can't guarantee that it'll be able to cover everything, but they might be able to pull some themes together from the points that are raised by members of the committee.
Okay, thank you, Anthea. Call Dip.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Anthea, thanks very much for that, because we had a meeting with a LAP last February, and the chief executive was there, and we had a good conversation. The other thing I was thinking about was, of course, in the next couple of weeks or 7 and 8 weeks, we're going to be coming out of Europe, and how will that impact on the council and its finance and in procurement and everything else like that? Perhaps something for us to, I'm not too sure what's going to happen, and nobody seems to be sure what happens on the 1st of Jan. But how will it affect the finance, our contracts, our whatever else we do with the EU? Is there anything that we can perhaps look into in the new year or something? After all, we are here to scrutinize, the council finances, and if there is any impact, positive or negative, I think as a scrutiny committee, we should be going over it. Not now, but perhaps in the new year or something further down. Any comments on that?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Are you happy for me to respond?
Yes, certainly, Anthea. Yeah.
Councillor Sorda, in terms of contracts, I can answer that now, which is that our contracts ought not to be affected, because we future-proof our contracts as a matter of course by including provisions for any subsequent legislation that replaces old legislation. So we're not anticipating any significant contractual issues. Clearly, there may or may not be some financial impacts, and the likelihood there is likely to be a financial impact, be that positive or negative. What I would say is it's probably a bit early to be able to identify what those impacts might be immediately upon exiting Europe. And so what I would suggest is probably in about 6 months' time, we'll be able to get a sense. It'll have stabilized a little bit, and we'll be able to get a sense of where the financial projections are taking us following the exit. So I understand there might be a desire to look at the preparedness of the council, but I do know that when we were initially looking at leaving Europe a couple of years ago now, work was done across every authority to make sure that we were prepared and that we had contingencies in place. So I think the work of this committee is probably better focused on assessing the impact 6 months on, and then maybe 12 months on after that. That would be my suggestion, but clearly it's a matter for members.
Wasn't there well, thanks very much for clarifying the contract. But isn't there something, any contract we award over 50,000, it has to adhere with the EU rules and regulation? Are you saying that we're going to carry on with that, or the government legislation will allow us to carry on with that? Is that what you're saying? Just to clarify that in my mind.
Yeah. Yes. So when currently in under the European legislation, when you procure contracts up to a certain value, there's a process that you have to follow, which includes putting a notice in the European Journal. The transitional arrangements currently are likely to see that continuing. We're not seeing anything at the moment that says we stop that immediately come the 1st of January. So we're not anticipating that change at any point immediately. But in terms of the impact it would, even if it did come to an end, the impact on the council isn't significant, in as much as we still have UK legislation that we need to follow for procuring contracts, and that would still apply irrespective of the European position. And we would still follow that.
Thank you, Anthea. Thank you, Caldit, for the question. Right, is there any other points? Any other questions? Okay. Right, I assume everybody is happy for us to look forward to our meeting with the LEP in December and come out and see what we can do. If everyone can put in their ideas on what the LEP can give to us, or any ideas that they can look at, yeah, as Anthea said, send them through to Kieran, and we will list them and try and introduce them when we have the meeting with the LEP. January, of course, as I say, is going to be completely filled with the budget, and so I think therefore I think that's enough for us to do until the new financial year. If everyone is in agreement to that, we'll wait for the outcome of the meeting in December.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Right, Auntie, you happy with that? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Okay, lovely. Right, as I say, I think the last one is the Chair's update. So I think we've already discussed what we're proposing to do over the next few months. So I think we've just got to look forward to those particular meetings and just get down to a bit of hard work and put us in the right frame of mind for the future. So as far as that's concerned, that's everything else. If I think, unless there's any other questions or queries or anything like that, I think that's the. I'd just like to thank you all for attending tonight, and I think I found it very rewarding evening. So thank you all. All right. Yeah. Okay. Take care, everyone. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Right.
Cheers.